Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it is time for a review of the new Beyoncé live record, Homecoming, the live album. This is a new live album from one of the most iconic and game-changing singers of this generation, Queen Bee Beyoncé. This project is essentially a 2018 live recording of Beyoncé's Coachella performance, which marked the first time a black woman had headlined what's arguably the largest music festival running today, and the performance on this one was certainly one for the history books, with a career-spanning setlist featuring not only tracks from Beyoncé's last full-length album Lemonade, but also Destiny's Child cuts too, where she's of course backed up by Kelly Rowland, as well as Michelle Williams. Jay-Z and J Balvin also make appearances during the setlist as well, though this is not a very feature-heavy album or anything. The main focus on this album is most certainly Beyoncé and the massive drumline and horn section she assembled for the performance on this thing, which is honestly a genius way of transcribing all of these songs that cover so many different eras in Beyoncé's career. The horns, the drumline, the backup singers all create a very cohesive sound as we move from hits that range from 20 to 2 years old. Beyoncé even manages to deliver deep cuts on this thing like I've Been On, which I'm pretty sure was a SoundCloud-only drop, a tribute to Southern hip-hop, Houston hip-hop, chopped and screwed with Beyoncé rapping in these pitch-down vocals on a trap beat. So again, all of this live instrumentation, all these drums keep the momentum and the excitement in this performance very high, and also allow Beyoncé to deliver these songs in a medley-type fashion, where you're getting little snippets of the biggest tracks of her career, all segueing into each other very seamlessly. The only moments on this album where I think the recording and the performance really loses some steam is where the drums and the horns fade away in favor of whatever the original instrumental was for the track that Beyoncé is performing. This happens during cuts on this album like Beyoncé and Formation and Partition, tracks that by no means should be a lull during a Beyoncé album because they're some of her biggest bangers ever. And Beyoncé is vocally going as hard as possible on some of these tracks, like really laying the swag on heavy and sometimes grunting or shrieking or just like really throwing in these wild vocal embellishments. And I'm sure these cuts sounded amazing live during this performance, but the mix of this live record is a little wonky. There's so much reverb and ambient noise surrounding some of the instrumentals played in the background of these tracks that they're kind of hollowed out, don't have enough punch. They leave Beyoncé vocally feeling a little unsupported. This isn't generally an issue for the tracks that feature more horns, more drumline, as they do have a lot more presence in the mix, and the performances on these drums and horns is so phenomenally tight. It's just rare you hear this sort of thing platformed on an album with this much exposure. It brings a really fresh and dynamic sound to Beyoncé's classics, especially when they take it upon themselves to revise some of her biggest and most popular songs in very creative ways. I'm definitely partial to the way Beyoncé broke down the song Sorry at one point with this funny routine she had going on with the Bugaboos, and the way they picked the track up after that, totally reinventing it. There are plenty of other cuts on this record too, where Beyoncé is playing the hits a bit straighter, but still the singers, the horns, the drums are worked into the original instrumental pretty creatively, so it feels like you're hearing a new version entirely. Like on the song DIVA, where the group vocals and chants on that track sort of raise it to like new levels of epic. I wouldn't say all reinventions on this record go over without a hitch though. Flawless is definitely one that stuck out to me as a bit awkward, a little bit like a sore thumb. Beyoncé's very aggressive vocalizations over the incredibly faint synth line in the background just feels overpowering. But for every moment like this on Homecoming, there is a countdown or there is a hold up where Beyoncé gives just a stunning vocal performance. Also, her rendition of the track I Care, with the added drums, the extra touch of reverb, and the super glossy kind of futuristic synths on that track, it sounds very close to the original, but with all this added extra sound and this sort of organic, in-the-moment feel of the track, it's almost like I'm listening to a cross between the original cut and Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. It's like on that level of grandiosity, we're hearing this original Beyoncé track fused with some art rock and arena rock vibes. There is a portion in the set list where Beyoncé starts pulling on some tracks that have more of an international flavor in her discography. The J Balvin song Mi Gente, where she had a feature not too long ago, is performed here with Balvin appearing on the Coachella stage with her. We also have the track Baby Boy from back in the day featuring Sean Paul, a dancehall flavored hit that featured some production from Scott Storch back in the day. And finally, to tie this moment up, we have the reggae flavored You Don't Love Me. This is maybe not one of my favorite sections during the set list or anything. Don't really care for the J Balvin track all that much, but that's not really Beyonce's original song anyway. Still, even though this isn't one of my favorite moments on the entire Homecoming set list, the transitions during this spot are just as amazing and flawless as they are everywhere else. After this moment in the set list, we pretty much go on a trip down memory lane. Beyonce starts dishing out some of her biggest classics, some of those Destiny's Child tracks, ends it all off with the very soulful Love on Top, a cute Blue Ivy interlude, and also some thank yous to the backup dancers, the production crew, the drumline, everybody. And all in all, this thing is mega impressive. Even with a few duds in the track list and a less than impressive mix job on this thing, I'm partially just speechless because this is just a live performance of epic proportions. Beyonce really pulled out all the stops on this thing. The performance and the way all these tracks are melded together is so impressive, it overcomes easily what few aspects of this album are less than perfect. It's like hearing the entire Beyonce catalog filtered through the sound of a pep rally at a historically black university, and quite possibly one of the most ambitious live records ever to be released. To the point where I think even non-Beyonce fans can listen to this thing and come away relatively blown away by just how above and beyond she went with what she presented here. I'm feeling a decent 2 strong 8 on this thing. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Beyonce, Homecoming, forever.